honestly think that Frank may have some things that people don't know he's got. And if he's ever to utilize those things, it's going to be a really good boxing match.
And everybody that came with him, they're going to feel it. I promise you. It's a different beast.
And everybody that came with you.
It's like getting hit. Oh! Down it goes Perez! Oh my goodness!
You're just a part of it. You're just a part of it. You're just a part of it. This is my shit.
Trying to do it judiciously. Trying to go in shots and he puts him down again.
Friends, in today's video, I'll discuss 5 reasons why Frank Martin will end Gervonta Davis's career. Let's get started. Number 5. Size and physical strength. As much as we love Gervonta, we must admit that in recent years, several fighters have given him, if not an equal fight, at least a decent challenge. Specifically, there have been 3 such boxers: Mario Barrios, Isaac Cruz, and Hector Garcia. Not Ryan, but Hector. What do these seemingly different fighters have in common? Each of them surpassed Tank either physically or anthropometrically. Remember how the small pitbull pushed Gervonta to the ropes and dominated in close quarters until his cardio failed? Or how the tall and fast Barrios kept the champion at bay with just his jab and footwork? The same thing happened in the first half of Davis's fight with Garcia. Yes, in the end, the Baltimore native managed to handle each of them, but now he has to box with a guy who surpasses him in every physical parameter. In height and reach, Frank is nearly equal to Ryan Garcia, who looked quite big compared to Tank, and his phenomenal shape speaks volumes about his strength. If this argument seems dubious, remember the difference in weight classes. Gervonta fought in the super featherweight division for a long time and moved up to 135 pounds simply because he didn't want to cut weight. In contrast, the Ghost started his career in the 140-pound division and sometimes moved up even higher. Only in recent years, thanks to strict discipline, has Frank managed to make the lightweight limit, and this weight difference will be especially significant against the smaller Gervonta. It's undeniable that winning against such an experienced and dangerous boxer like Tank with just strength and size is impossible, but these qualities will undoubtedly give Martin a significant advantage both at a distance and in clinches. Number 4. Body shots. I remember mentioning this before Gervonta's fight with Ryan, but it's worth bringing up again. We're talking about Davis's body and the fact that his opponent rarely used body punches. Almost everyone who has faced Tank focused on his head, forgetting that boxers have a second level to attack. Yes, the champion isn't very tall and reaching for body shots can be risky, but why does no one work to his liver with light punches from the lead hand? I believe many underestimate the effectiveness of body punches, and Martin might be the one to change that. Frank has a fantastic right jab to the body, which he throws as quickly as he does to the head, making it nearly impossible to parry or counter. Besides light punches, the Ghost also has more dangerous weapons, like a short left straight that cuts through an opponent's flesh like a sword. Gervonta himself demonstrated how effective this punch could be when he knocked out Garcia in the 7th round. The contender's arsenal includes a lead hand hook that he often lands when quickly moving forward. In my opinion, Frank effectively uses body punches at all distances, and each of these punches is dangerous in its own way. Of course, to knock out Davis with a body shot, Martin will have to work hard, but that's not necessary. It would be wiser to keep the champion under constant pressure with varied attacks and unexpected transitions to the body, or use long body punches as stoppers to better control the distance. They might not cause significant damage, but they'll make Gervonta more tense and hesitant, and if things go well, they could disrupt his breathing, which would undoubtedly help Frank in the later rounds. Number 3. High pace. Only a fool would deny that the current version of Gervonta is very different from the wild and unpredictable guy he was at the beginning of his career. Tank used to engage in slugfests in the center of the ring or move forward relying solely on his reflexes and punching power. However, now everything has changed. Davis has become older, more experienced, cautious, and, to some extent, craftier. His uncontrolled aggression has been replaced by a counter-punching style with quick footwork and an incredible number of feints, while his aggression has given way to cold-bloodedness and patience. Have these changes benefited the champion? Yes and no. Now, Gervonta takes very few hits and doesn't waste energy on unnecessary movements, but in trying to catch his opponent making a mistake, Davis often loses rounds, which could be a significant problem against Frank. Martin is used to setting an insanely high pace and speed for the fight. Typically, his attacks start from the first minute and continue until the final bell rings. It doesn't matter if the opponent is moving toward him or retreating. The Ghost will still throw thousands of jabs and straights at all levels. While Davis looks for openings in Frank's defense, the latter can easily outbox him from a distance, and most concerning for the Baltimore native, Martin won't get tired of doing this all night. It's unlikely this guy even knows the word fatigue, or at least we've never seen him breathing heavily. If Tank doesn't land clean shots, which isn't easy given the contender's excellent defense, he'll have to increase the pace to the limit, raising the risk of getting tired, or worse, getting caught with a counter. Yes, in terms of knockout power, Frank is far behind Gervonta, but even his accurate left straight can put Tank down at any moment. Number 2. Defense and toughness. Gervonta's main asset has always been his absurd, inexplicable knockout power. Even the lightest and shortest punch from Tank can be deadly, and no one should get hit by them. But the question is, can Davis reach Martin? It seems the answer is obvious since the Baltimore native has knocked out almost everyone he's ever fought, but don't rush to write Frank off. The Ghost possesses truly fantastic defense based on footwork and body movements. Sounds cliche, right? Haven't the great and almighty Gervonta encountered this before? I'm afraid not. Martin moves very smoothly and swiftly, leaving no extra space behind him or for his opponent. His legs are spread very wide, helping Frank close in quickly, retreat to a safe distance, and turn and duck in different directions. The American loves to make deep ducks, usually to the left, then clinch for safety. It might seem that in these moments, Martin is very vulnerable to a short uppercut, but he has that covered too. Frank always keeps his left hand at his chin, covering most of his head, and during ducks, he overlaps the other hand on top, creating an impenetrable defense. Yes, the Ghost defense is really good, and he lives up to his nickname by being elusive for opponents, but what if Gervonta hits? I think we have every reason to believe Frank will withstand it. Unlike Ryan Garcia, before the fight with Davis, Martin had never been knocked out or seriously stunned, and the body shots that the champion is now famous for, Frank can eat them all night long, as he demonstrated in his last fight. And it's far from certain that Gervonta, who will be much shorter and not much faster than Martin, will be able to hit him at all. Perhaps the world will see another young genius break the matrix. Number 1. Southpaw stance. A fight between two experienced southpaws is a true gift for the sophisticated viewer and, at the same time, a tough test for the boxers themselves. Most often, southpaws fight against orthodox fighters, becoming accustomed to fighting in a particular style. But when they meet an opponent with the same stance, it causes big problems. This also applies to Gervonta. Throughout his long professional career, Tank has repeatedly faced other southpaws, and each time the fights were difficult for him. I already mentioned the boxers who gave Davis the toughest fights, and what do you think? Two of them had the same stance as Gervonta. The fight between Tank and Luis Garcia, who is stylistically and physically very similar to Martin, is especially important to analyze. For several rounds, the Dominican confidently worked with his lead hand, moved a lot and defended well, making it difficult for the champion to hit him. Only when Davis started pressuring hard did Garcia begin to lose and later refuse to continue fighting. But if someone like Hector Garcia, who moved up from the featherweight division, could box with the champion for so long, what will happen when Martin steps into the ring? I think Gervonta will, at the very least, have a tough time, and winning the fight only with pressure won't be possible. it's quite likely that Frank won't let him get close and will, though boringly but effectively, outbox him until the final round. He has the same tools Garcia had, plus greater physical strength, speed, and volume of punches as I've already mentioned. Still, we must remember that this fight is equally difficult for both, and Frank will also be fighting a southpaw. The challenge will be at least as tough, if not tougher, for him than for the experienced Gervonta, but I believe that a talent like Martin can handle it. I think it's no secret that Gervonta comes into this fight as the favorite, and there's no disputing that. Tank is more experienced, has faced tougher boxers, and his power will be a significant factor in any fight. But best believe Martin will show his worth. This guy is far from being an ordinary boxer, as many might think, and with a bit of luck, he could soon become the new superstar of the lightweight division. What do you think? Does Frank Martin have a chance to defeat Gervonta Davis, or is Tank not ready to give up his belt yet? Be sure to share your opinion in the comments.